Ilan Bhearnar ag haise actarí éisc inis na Studio Cláirí do Loch Ciúil. Próiseacht eile go chiantarí hirst agus in Imriche. Ceol úr ag de géad a chláintin, tibh mói, nio tibh stoi in thucalich or na mare.
There are people all over the world who are actually making journeys where they're leaving their homelands to try and seek a new life in another place. They, in many cases they know there's a risk that they won't make it, and that even if they do, they might never be able to return home. They might never see that place again. So I suppose it really, for me, it's the personal side of the story, but also the bigger picture of the human journey. And I got very interested in finding what fragments remained of music that was really known to be from St Kilda. So I did quite a bit of research, and there's some very interesting material, but I guess what I want to do is take, I suppose, abstract elements of that material and bring that together with my own musical sensibility. The reality is we don't have a time machine, and we can't go back and know exactly what the people sang about or how they sang it. So I guess my interest lies more in being inspired by that material. When I think of St Kilda as a place, that will bring certain things into my mind, and I have little fragments of pieces that I know are for this project. I have a violin that I fondly call my stunt violin. It's a sort of, it's a fairly cheap fiddle, but it actually has a really great sound. I took my violin around the island and I played in the landscape and in some of the buildings there. And after that trip and sort of exploring, I suppose, not just the natural sounds of the landscape, but also what it was like making music in the landscape, I came back and started doing quite a lot of research about the place and the people. And the thing that really caught my interest was I hadn't realised that there'd been, in 1852, there was a group of 8 families from Herta who decided to emigrate to Australia. And obviously, for me, as an Australian person and travelling all that way and finding myself on St Kilda, it was fascinating just to imagine these people making what then would have been a long, arduous journey to leave their home and, seek a new life in a place that was very, very different.
It was a disaster for both sides, because most of them died in the passage, not because of shipborne disease or anything like that, but measles, because they'd never been in contact with measles before. And most of them died on the ship or in quarantine, and only a few survived a few years later. And in Hirsch itself, when these young families had gone, the remaining ones, they literally couldn't breed quickly enough to maintain the population. And the population was static, which meant it got older and older, until in the end, they just couldn't keep the place.
It was a real tragedy, and I suppose it's not just the fact that so many people lost their lives and they never got to sort of seek that new life, to leave everything and go to another place, and then for those families to be dealing with that grief at the same time as trying to work out where they were in a new place, a new landscape, everything.
When you look at photographs of Hirsch in the 1890s and again in the 1920s, you can see that they've given up. They haven't got the manpower, and I don't think they've got the spirit to maintain the place. And it's only a question of when the end would come. And there are various moves to evacuate until eventually they had to go. And the last 36 families went. Particularly because the last family with any number of children, the McKinnons, decided they were going anyway. And if they went, there's nobody to even haul up a boat. So the rest just had to go. They became much more reliant on selling stuff to tourists. I always like the story of the old lady coming ashore who was a Gaelic speaker unknown to them. And the boatman taking her from the ship to the shore, they were discussing how much they were going to charge the grant. And when she got there, she handed them the normal fare and said, "Mahi grant, hey honourach."
So yeah, I'm quite nervous because I feel here I am in this state-of-the-art building. I mean, I saw it in various stages of readiness. So seeing it all looking ready to go, it's like, oh, I've got to actually do it now. I better do a good job.